cannoli. The news is crazy today, like pretty much every day, but we're going to get right into it. And today is June 13th, 2017. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the real Attorney General scandal, talk about something that Russia did that was actually bad, prove to you how Donald Trump and his administration are working hand in hand with ISIS, how Big Brother pretty much just eviscerated your privacy, and of course, Dennis Rodman going to North Korea. Now, the first story I wanted to talk about is about U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who's under a lot of scrutiny right now because of his supposed meeting with the Russian envoy, and currently he's facing another pointless government hearing that won't go anywhere because the whole thing is just asinine. The mainstream media is obsessed with Russia, and it's a politician meeting with other Russians and speaking to them. Who gives a damn? That's what they're supposed to do. But meanwhile, in the mainstream media, they forget how horrible Jeff Sessions really is, and the real controversy is that this man, who is the Attorney General of this country, has just asked the U.S. House of Representatives, the U.S. Congress, to let him persecute medical marijuana providers. This ghoul deserves to have his buttocks chewed out, but he's not, because everyone's still obsessing about this Russia things. Meanwhile, the real things he's trying to push on all of us that's really bad, now let's just ignore all that. Let's just keep talking about Russia. And talking about Russia, they actually did something bad recently. Just yesterday, over 1,000 people were arrested for protesting corruption in Russia. 1,000 people were arrested by the Russian state for simply protesting corruption in Russia. That is a crap ton of paperwork, and to make the situation worse, the organizer of this protest, a Mr. Alexei Navalny, the Russian opposition leader to Vladimir Putin, was just jailed for 30 days for staging this supposed unsanctioned, unpermitted rally in Moscow. And to me, this story gives a major black eye to Russia and their public image all around the world, because it shows you not only how fragile they are, how insecure they are of protests, but also demonstrates how this uncalculated move by their authority forces will only embolden the resistance movement against their government, since they are not only tarnishing their image all around the world, but also at the same time giving people a legitimate reason inside of Russia to oppose them. Now, moving on, another human right violating country news, the annual Global Peace Index just came out today, and surprise, 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 9 of the world's least peaceful nations were all targets of U.S. intervention. 9 out of the 10 most violent countries in this world have all been subject to direct U.S. intervention. We have Ukraine, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, South Sudan, Iraq, Afghanistan, and of course Syria, which is number 1 on the list. And the only country that's not on the list is the Central African Republic, which is 9th on the list. And very interestingly enough, the United States actually ranked 114th on the peace level index when it was compared to the entire world. And now, in related disastrous U.S. intervention creating chaos and fear and violence all around the world news, we have ISIS, who just yesterday announced a call for attacks in West Russia, the Middle East, and Asia during Ramadan. Very interestingly enough, the same time that happened, there's new videos emerging from Syria, from the ISIS headquarters of Raqqa, showing how the United States military was allowing ISIS fighters to escape safely in Syria. Many people don't notice, but the United States, still continuing under Donald Trump, has been using ISIS as a pawn for their deprived foreign policy, and they still continue to do it, as shown by this example of where ISIS fighters were fleeing the Syrian city of Raqqa untouched by the U.S. military, which is currently bombing that exact location right now. And despite having Kurdish and American drones hovering around the city of Raqqa, the United States bombs are nowhere to be seen, as hundreds of fighters are passing safely out of the city of Raqqa towards another city that they will directly fight against the Syrian government and also Iranian and Russian forces. And while the United States is giving safe passage to ISIS inside of Syria, we have the United States and Canada taking off an Al-Qaeda affiliate off their terror watch list. Take that in for a moment. The United States and Canadian government has just taken off a Syrian Al-Qaeda terrorist group off their terror watch list. So why would the United States and Canadian government make it harder to persecute and go after these Al-Qaeda affiliates? You You could figure it out. It's not that complicated anymore, and it's been something I've been speaking about for years now, and breaking down geopolitically why this is happening. You can watch all the previous other videos about this very important topic. But even today, the Iranian government came out and said that they have proof of U.S. direct support of ISIS. A senior Iranian official has come out and accused the United States of supporting the Islamic State terrorist group and effectively forming an alliance with it. And on top of that, they are offering proof. Now, Russia has also came out previously before and said the same things. But even without any proof, we have former statesman and former Congressman Ron Paul asking the legitimate question, why are we attacking the Syrian government when they're the ones fighting ISIS? Now, Ron Paul released his article today, and it is definitely worth a read and will be in a description below, where he details the disastrous U.S. foreign policy that Donald Trump is continuing and ultimately aligning himself with radical Islamic terrorists and ISIS. And why isn't this as big of a controversy as Russia is with the Trump administration? Well, we're actually getting emails today highlighting and exposing how Saudi Arabia and the UAE work with the U.S. mainstream media in order to push for war. And as we know, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States have been on the side of radical Islamic terrorists and ISIS from the very beginning and still continue to do so. And that's why one of the many reasons why we don't hear about the real truth on the U.S. mainstream media about what is happening geopolitically all around the world, and I have to sit here and do it for them. And sit here, ask for donations to continue this operation, since no corporation or government will, of course, sponsor this message. And then at the same time, whistleblowers like Chelsea Manning have to come forward, risk their life and personal safety in order to leak the documents of exactly what's happening with the American war machine. And sadly, while many people are arguing over hurtful words and throwing piss at each other and throwing punches over meaningless statements, the wars are still being ignored. And while the real horrible policies of Donald Trump are being ignored and people are being distracted, at the same time, Big Brother and governments are working to get rid of any single form of privacy you have for the possibility of you one day waking up to the real problems of this system and are creating a complete control grid system against you. Just yesterday, in the United Kingdom, the first ever arrest was made from cameras linked to public facial recognition databases. Of course, the UK authorities are being very silent and mum and won't release any details to who they arrested and why, but the fact that this is happening now is a clear warning sign that it could also be used against peaceful protesters who might potentially in the future threaten the power and authority of the state. And while that's happening in the United States, we are finding out that police departments are now routinely cracking and extracting all phone data from people that they arrested. After a recent Freedom of Information Act request, we are finding out that the police departments are reading people's correspondence between the arrested person and their doctors, lawyers, kids, and spouses. They're able to see a list of all the places the person has visited and are able to look at everything from bank balances to spending history. And cops are doing this nationwide in the United States after supposedly obtaining, quote, consent from the people arrested. Now, of course, consent could be given under false pretexts or extorted out of someone arrested for, say, potentially not paying their taxes or smoking a marijuana joint in a state where it's illegal. And we already know the federal government and the alphabet agencies already have complete control of all information on all of its citizens. But now that the local police departments have it and are getting it from the people that they arrested, this is a major issue of concern, abuse of power, violation of civil liberties, that there should be a massive outcry about. But for some reason, we're still talking about Russia. Now, shifting topics, talking about other global disastrous news, let's talk about North Korea. As we are speaking, former NBA star Dennis Rodman is landing in Pyongyang, North Korea. And in a surprising move on his arrival in North Korea, Kim Jong-un, the dictator of the country, is deciding to release the U.S. student that was serving 15 years in jail there for stealing a poster and releasing them to U.S. authorities. And in a surprising move is actually easing tensions between North Korea and the entire world from bombing the crap out of them, which proves the point that I made 2 months ago on this YouTube channel, and that is the very fact that Michael Jordan could literally save the world from North Korea being bombed to smithereens and work out a geopolitical solution that works best for the United States, the Chinese and the North Koreans with no bombs actually being launched at each other. You have to watch the video for the full context, of course, but I think if this latest move by North Korea proves anything, it's that they are open to diplomacy, open to working things out, and galvanizing people like Dennis Rodman and Michael Jordan, who have been his idols, especially for this young 30-something-year-old dictator of our country, could be the rational thing to do instead of just sending all of our military might there, conducting war games and war drills, practicing a full all-out invasion and war that would kill hundreds of thousands of people. Could be done, and it is being done, which is good to see. And another sports-related news, of course, you know I like to leave this kind of episode on a positive note. We have a bunch of U.S. senators that are aiming to stop the U.S. government financing sports stadiums, which I think is a great move, because why the hell should my tax dollars be used to pay for the Verizon Wireless Center, the Best Buy Center, and all the other corporate conglomerate centers all around the United States? Oh yeah, sorry, sports are used to placate the masses so we don't revolt against the people screwing us over on the top. I forgot. Jeez. And psychologically, sports is being used as bread in circuses to get the minds of the people off the actual things that are happening to them, and it's a very effective propaganda tool that even the Pentagon utilizes by spending $6.8 million of taxpayers' money to pro sports team in order for them to have military tributes. I think this is a great move and a sign in the right direction. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. If you did, share it with your friends and family members, and if you can, support us on patreon.com/wearechange, because if it wasn't for you supporting us, we wouldn't be here. I piss off everyone on the left and right. Trust me, no one likes me except you guys. It's not easy being here in this position, but I have my morals and my principles, and those matter to me more than any amount of money, popularity, fame, and all this other nonsense that people are placating to in order to divide and conquer you. I'm here mainly to make you think. And if I do that, and if you like to think and not just be regurgitated the same ideas either on the left or right to you so you feel good about yourself, but you actually stop deciding to play sides and see things for what they really are, then I hope you appreciate this message. I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned. More craziness. I'm probably gonna go fly off somewhere. That's probably gonna get me hurt, as always. But yeah, that's why I'm here. Thank you.